Be talking about classical conditioning. Classical conditioning was founded by Ivan Pavlov somewhat by accident through feeding his dogs. It's an interesting experiment that is now very well known in society and psychology and general knowledge today, especially when it comes to learning and processes of learning. So basically, the core concepts of conditioning are we have an unconditioned stimulus, for example, the dog food, and an unconditioned response of the dog salivating. We then add a neutral stimulus, for example, the bell, and there's no response from the dog. To condition the dog, we have to add the neutral stimulus to our unconditioned stimulus, for example, the food and the bell, and this will create our unconditioned response of salivation. So once we have conditioned the dog, he will continue to hear the bell, which is our conditioned stimulus, and he'll provide the conditioned response of salivating, even though there is no food present. This is the basic concept of conditioning. We also have higher order conditioning, which is also known as second order conditioning, and this is the process in which a previously conditioned stimulus is used to condition a new stimulus that was never involved with the original experiment. So for example, if we added a flashing light that also comes with the bell, you could eventually remove the bell and the flashing light will still elicit the conditioned response, even though it was never around when the food was there. So there are many different processes within conditioning. First, acquisition is the initial stage of learning where a response is established or a new association is formed. This is the same across learning of any skill. Extinction is the weakening of a learned behavior or conditioned response. This can be over time and not having enough exposure to the stimulus. Spontaneous recovery is the reappearance of a previously extinguished conditioned response after a period of time has passed. So it will just come up in memory that you hear the bell and suddenly, you're salivating again. Stimulus discrimination is the ability to differentiate between different stimuli and respond appropriately to only the specific stimulus that is associated with your outcome. So if there's a bell ringing and there's other music playing, but you can discriminate which one is your stimulus that you are conditioned to. Stimulus generalization is a psychological phenomenon where an organism exhibits a learned response to a stimulus that is similar but not identical to the original. So, for example, hearing any bell and providing the conditioned response. There are certain factors that influence conditioning. Contiguity, which is how close events are in time, and contingency and how an event depends on the other, can both impact conditioning processes, as well as latent inhibition, which is the repeated exposure to a neutral stimulus before it's paired with another stimulus, and this reduces the speed and the strength of learning about the relationship between the two. Thank you.